Hey, what's up, guys? What is going on? How's everybody doing? Especially y'all down in the South Texas area. What's up? We are at Matagorda. You're looking at the Gulf of Mexico. That's what you're seeing right now. This is a live view of the Gulf of Mexico. Actually, right now as I do this video, Agent Fletcher. What's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. We're going to take a closer look. Hey, Schmitty, AZ49ers. What's going on, guys? Nunya, Texas on the back 20. Good afternoon. What's up, guys? Yeah, man. Just taking a look at this freak storm that's about to make landfall here in a few hours. It's already bringing heavy rain to parts of southeast Texas. More to come. And I'm actually very surprised by this entire event, to be totally honest with you. It's kind of an enigma, but it is what it is. But what is it? We're going to take a look at some bizarre video footage that was shared with me as this thing was somehow materializing in the midst of all of the wind shear. Quite an amazing feat. I've never seen a hurricane do that. Here's another view of the Matagorda coastline. That's where we're at, guys. We are right here. And the hurricane, whatever you want to call it, tropical storm, is right here. I mean, we are right in front of it. We have a front row seat. Here, I'll show you where we're at. We are right here. Check it out. Here we go. Okay. There's the, well, it's attempting to become a hurricane again. And it may get the job done because the waters in the Gulf of Mexico are plenty warm. And there's an absence of wind shear right now. You're watching the Tulsa, Oklahoma in the house. We're watching the landfall of tropical storm, hurricane, if you want to call it a hurricane. It's not really a hurricane right now, to be honest. What's up, Carrie Ann? Wondering your thoughts on the supernova. It's supposed to be visible now in the northern sky. We haven't had really good skies to be checking that out, but the skies are clear right now. If they remain clear, I'm going to be out there checking it out tonight. So right now, honestly, I'm going to be perfectly transparent with you guys. I don't know how the storm even made it through here. I've always said, those of you guys that know me know I've followed hurricanes since 2004. I've been doing this for a long time. I don't remember a hurricane ever plowing through this much wind shear. And we're over here at nullschool.net. And you're looking at an image of the wind conditions in the Atlantic, the Central Atlantic, North Atlantic, in between Africa, North America, and the Caribbean. The story that this is telling you is there's a lot of wind out here, okay? A lot of wind shear. Otherwise, these tan clouds that you see, those are dust particles from the west coast of Africa, the Sahara Desert, all right? And they will travel all the way over to the U.S., as you can clearly see. But typically the reason the dust is in the air is because of wind shear. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. So for a hurricane to be able to plow through all of that, now making landfall soon, in southern Texas is quite unprecedented. And I've received some really weird videos. This one's from Jim he's actually out of Oklahoma, not Oklahoma, Ohio. He noticed this bizarre radar, no pun intended, but a mysterious looking radar anomaly, if you will, out here in the Caribbean Sea as this storm was kind of developing, whatever. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. I'm just going to show you. This is the original video that Jim shared with me. What is that thing? I'm not aware of any Doppler radar in that area, that part of the world. Maybe there is. I don't know. Sometimes Doppler radar can make unique rings appear in the digital information that it gives to us to analyze and look at. But I don't know. That looks it looks like something else. Exactly what? I don't know. Here's another video that Jim shared with me from just a couple of days ago as the storm was moving through the Caribbean. There it is again. Showed up multiple times, and I know some of you guys have probably seen this already. Don't know. There's another little signature right up there. Not quite as big or influential, but there is something up there. Let's look and see if there's any land up there. No, There's no land right there. So why would there be a Doppler radar out there in the middle of the water? You know what I mean? Drew, crazy stuff going on. You are right. And these two videos were shared with me by Jim out of, I don't know, Ohio. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the date up here at the top of the screen. Jim out of Ohio, he took those videos from July the 4th. As the storm was trekking through here, and as I just showed you, there was no land anywhere that would have potentially produced a radar ring like that. Sometimes that happens. Of course it does. Here's a look at the potential rain for this area from this storm. That's predominantly been a rainmaker. I mean, I think it brought 10, 11 inches of rain to parts of Jamaica down in through here. There was 10, 11 inches of rain at its peak, you know, in some areas 8 or 9. This is the path of the heaviest rain as this thing makes landfall in the next 12 hours. It's going to make landfall soon as either a tropical 1 or, category 1 hurricane or a tropical storm. It just depends on how long it hangs around out here. Do you guys remember Hurricane Harvey? Whoa. Hurricane Harvey crawled up the coast here, kind of like this one's doing. Hurricane Harvey stalled right in here. So, other than its path through the Caribbean and its origins out in this very heavy wind shear, it originated down in here somehow. It stayed low and below the wind shear. Here's an example, okay? The reason this storm is performing so well right now, I'm going to go up and click the wind shear category. This is a live look at the storm. We just clicked on the wind shear. The green lines you see mean it's telling a story. The green lines represent ideal conditions for the formation of tropical storms. Tropical storms are very finicky, man. They don't like these red lines. That's wind shear. So as the storm makes landfall, you can see the crosswinds up here. They cause the storms to tip over. And then they become dysfunctional. They're no longer a storm. They become lopsided. We've all seen that before. This storm here right now is fairly symmetrical. It's got a very defined right side, which is the strongest. The left side is starting to become more defined. It's trying to develop an eye wall. It's in the very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. That's where, honestly, the warmest waters are at right there. So this thing has an incredible potential. It could even become a Category 2. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I was a little leery of this thing back in the wind shear, but now that it's in the Gulf of Mexico without wind shear and in very, very warm waters, it could become easily, and it's forecasted to become a Category 1. Don't be surprised if it becomes Category 2. Wouldn't surprise me at all. It's got a pretty good sized wind field. This is over here at windy.com, and I think these are wind gusts. Yeah, these are wind gusts right now, and you can see it's just not. It's not really an overachiever. I wouldn't call it an overachiever at all. Right here's where it's at. Tropical storm, top winds of 65 miles an hour. Then becoming a hurricane by 5 p.m. tonight. So what time is it in Texas? 1, 2, 3. So here in a couple of hours, this thing could be a full-blown hurricane again. If it lingers around any longer out here, because I can see it's starting to spread out. It's becoming bigger. So this thing could become a Category 2. I wouldn't be surprised. Right now, north of Houston in the Spring, Texas area, the Woodlands, man, they're getting one of those far outer bands. They're getting drenched right now. What's up? Drew L. from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa doesn't get hurricanes. They get tornadoes up in there. But yeah, this whole storm, it's kind of an anomaly. It has been to me since day one. But looking at the potential rain over the next 24 to 48 hours, you're looking at 6 to 7 inches of rain in the heaviest areas, 7.5, 7.6, 7.2. And again, these are the storm totals for the next, well, actually through the 9th. So the next 48 hours, basically. So again, it's got a very narrow path, probably not even 75 miles wide. It's just not been a real high-end hurricane. How it even formed is a bit of an anomaly to me. But anyway, the cameras that we're looking at are positioned right here in front of the storm as it's getting closer and closer. And as you can see, the conditions are deteriorating very, very quickly. Can't even hardly see out into the Gulf of Mexico. What is the visibility there? Maybe a mile? So yeah, I mean it's blowing. Anybody out there in that area? Anybody in this area here? Yeah, Texas has been getting a lot of weather after it hits Corpus Christi. Yeah, you're right, MJ. It's supposed to, and it could go into Corpus Christi. You're exactly right. But I think it's supposed to skim along the coastline, and you can see that the storm is getting bigger right now as we do this video. So the tide's going to push up into this barrier island right here. Much further. I don't know when high tide is or low tide, to be honest with you. I just happened to run across this camera. But you can see the waves are coming up. The swells aren't anything incredible. I mean, I've definitely seen bigger. You're looking at 13-foot swells. I mean, I've seen 40 is what I'm trying to say. I've seen much, much bigger. But yeah, anyway, here we go. I mean, we've got a hurricane bearing down. Could be a category, definitely, I would say a category 1 for sure, just based off the satellite presentation. Category 2, I don't know, remains to be seen. Depends on how long it lingers around out here. But looking at the Gulf of Mexico and the visibility issues that you see here as far as how far you can see out into the Gulf of Mexico, you really can't. You can see the coast, and that's about it. So things are definitely being stirred up by this storm. Again, that I would consider a freak of nature, an anomaly. That again, it showed some really bizarre radar readings along the way. Honestly, I don't think this thing should have ever even formed. Not out here. There was a storm system behind it, a low pressure system that was trying to develop right here, but it was quickly extinguished by all of this mess. This is the main development region. This is where Hurricane Irma formed in 2017. I watched Hurricane Irma from right over here cruise all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. Come into the Caribbean, went up into South Florida. I watched it the entire journey over 2 weeks. There wasn't all this dust out here at the time because there was no wind shear. So no wind shear, conditions are very favorable for the formation of hurricanes. Yeah, Irma just cruised right along there. I mean, it was a wide open runway for Irma. This one here, I don't know how it did it. I'm telling you, I don't know how it did it. Because I've seen several hurricanes over the years, potential hurricanes. They didn't get past this right here. They came off, they started as a wave of energy off the west coast of Africa, like all of them do out here. They start as a wave of energy moving from west to or east to west. They come out here, get into the warm waters. With no wind shear, they'll cruise all the way across. And it depends on their Bermuda high. What you don't see right here, there's a constant up here. There's variables and constant. The constant is the Bermuda high. And that's what's steering this storm right here. There's a high pressure system sitting right here that's allowing this storm to go up into the coast of southern Mexico or southern Texas. If the high pressure were to move to the southwest, then it would steer the storm into Mexico. But the high pressure is kind of lifting up a little bit, and it's going to pull the storm or allow the storm to go up into the Houston, maybe into the Corpus Christi area. Either way, South Texas is going to get anywhere from 5 to 6, 7 inches of rain over the next 24 to 48 hours. It's going to be raining harder at some time, especially probably during the overnight hours. I think this thing is supposed to make landfall tonight. We can take a look and see, but it's going to slow down before it gets to the coast. And when they slow down, they strengthen, and the water is very warm right here. I mean, that's... I don't know the exact temperature. I'd have to look. It's probably in the upper 80s, I would say. Gulf of Mexico's known for its warm water. So, yeah, it's absence of wind shear, warm water. It's going to develop into a hurricane. I definitely agree on that. But how it even got this far is kind of an enigma. I'm just saying. But we are looking out into the Gulf of Mexico live. This is a live look at the Gulf of Mexico as it's currently a tropical storm, from what I understand. You can see the waves are a little bit stirred up. They call this thing Beryl or Beryl. Yeah, it's coming in. It was like the first major hurricane of the season, very early. Kind of a freak storm, if you ask me. Should have never formed to begin with, but it did, and here we are, and it's getting close to the coast of Texas. So the waves are starting to push up. When I first turned this on about an hour ago, the waves weren't coming in this far, so I can tell the waves are getting stronger. I'm seeing bigger white caps. They're lasting longer, so the swells are starting to intensify just a little. But again, we're not talking Hurricane Irma type of a storm here at all. No way. I mean, this is not a high end storm. I don't even know how it became a storm. I'm just being completely honest with you. And something that I shared, in case you missed it, I received some weird video footage from Jim out of Ohio, who shared this anomaly with me, and it's directly associated with this storm. Apparently, some sort of weird radar showed up out here in the Caribbean Sea as the storm was moving through the Caribbean Sea. Yeah, I don't know exactly what to think of that. You can see it not only there, but up here as well. I don't know. There's nothing up here but water. I don't know of any Doppler radar that's sitting out in the middle of the water. Usually Doppler radar is a land-based piece of equipment, not in the middle of the water. So, yeah, kind of weird. Kind of a weird deal right there. Going to this live view right here from Matagorda down in South Texas. We're looking at the arrival of what is now Tropical Storm Beryl, headed towards Spring, Texas. Looks like the hurricane, if it becomes a hurricane, I think it will, the eye is going to go over Spring, Texas. And it's that right quadrant that carries all the horsepower. So the right quadrant, if you're on the right side of this storm, you're going to see a lot of rain. You might see some wind gusts here and there, but it's Matagorda. That's where we're at right here. Matagorda, right here. I'll show you. Matagorda. That's where we're at right now. We're looking out into the Gulf of Mexico. Let me see if I can turn this around. Yeah, I can. Here we go. We'll just turn the heading around. Here's where we're at right now. And we'll tilt it. There you go. That's where we're at. This is where we're looking at right now. Looking out into the Gulf of Mexico right here. This is our view. This is exactly where we're looking at, out into the Gulf. Right there, and right there is where we're at. So you can see the visibility out here is practically zero. I mean, you can see maybe, a couple hundred yards. So the seas are definitely churning. The waves are getting bigger. How big? Right now, they're saying minimal, 15, 17-foot waves. Again, not a high-end storm. That's good. We don't want a major hurricane making landfall anywhere. We don't want to see that, but this storm has been an enigma since the beginning, to be honest. Here's another view from Matagorda, looking out into the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, that one froze up. Let's refresh. So you're looking at potentially 5 to 6 inches of rain if you're in the path of the storm, especially on the right side of the eye wall. Between now and late tomorrow night. So probably within the next 36 hours, but you can see the counterclockwise rotation has the waves coming in from southeast to northwest, slightly northwest, moving up into they're getting farther and farther up, closer and closer to the shore, they're consuming the beach. And every once in a while, you'll see these breaks in the rain bands. Like right there, you can kind of see a break in the rain band. Just a few minutes ago, we didn't have this much visibility at all. In fact, it was very minimal. Looking at the storm on the radar, right there she is. It's trying to gain some strength. But once the eye wall, which has never been very big, and it's not even present right now, to be honest, it's very unorganized, but conditions are favorable for it to strengthen. So it's going to strengthen a little bit, but it doesn't have a whole lot of time because it's less than 100 miles from the coast. So, yeah, there you go. There's a bird's eye view of hurricane. Is it Beryl or Beryl? I don't know. Beryl or Beryl. Merle is spelled M-E-R-Y-L, or there's also a spelling of Merle, M-E-R-L-E. Either way, it's hey, what's up, Butterfly 31? Jeremy Green, Night Toking. Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you're having a great day. Anybody down in the South Texas area? Anybody in the... Oh, is the volume too loud? I can adjust it. Is the volume too low, guys? I have no idea. Beryl like Cheryl. There you go. Thank you, Carol. Like Beryl. There you go. Right now, wind shear is helping Hurricane Beryl. It's pushing north. You're right, Bill. Oh, turn up the volume? Gotcha. No problem. I can do that. I probably had it turned down too low. There we go. Is that better? Hey, Marnie from Ontario. Yes, the volume is low, huh? Okay. What about now? Is the volume better? That better? Oh, it's too loud now. Sorry. All right. How about that? Is that better? Oh, got an echo here. Let me fix that. How about now? No echo? Is that better? All right. Well, thanks for letting me know, guys. Oh, it's got an echo, huh? Oh, it's too high? Oh, sorry. How about now? Is that better? That better? All right, great. All right, thank you guys. I didn't know. I'm looking at the levels over here, and the levels are actually showing me below 30 and 35, so that's telling me it's low. Actually, I have it down, turned down low. Okay, cool. Either way, oh, it's too low now. Can't hear. Oh, it's too low. Let me turn it up. Okay, how about now? Better, 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 better. All right, cool. Thanks for letting me know, guys, because I can't listen to my. Oh, it's too low. Ah, there we go. Okay, let me turn it up just a tad. Too low, too low, too low. How about now? So that's better. You got a bird's eye view of this thing here. All right, thank you. That's good. Good deal. All right, I'll leave it alone. Yeah, but you're looking at the storm. I mean, it's honestly just a three hours from landfall at tops. Maybe 4 hours from landfall. So it's definitely gaining some strength. There's no doubt about it. You can see those outer bands are pretty strong. This satellite presentation right here, it's telling you a story. This storm is indeed strengthening. Absolutely it is. So I don't know. I'd be ready for category 2, but I wouldn't count on it. I'm saying category 1 for sure. That's what's being forecasted by 5 p.m. tonight, Texas time. Category 1, but and then making landfall by 5 a.m. in the morning. So it could still be out in here for maybe 8 hours, but it's going to be getting very close to the shoreline. So I don't foresee it. It's definitely not become, I wouldn't think, a major hurricane. Yeah, about 4 hours from now. You're right. About 4 hours from landfall. But again, as far as anything major, you guys along the Texas coast are, and even inland, I mean, into Spring, Texas, Salt and Peppa in the Spring, Texas area. They are, where are they at? They're in the eye of the storm. Okay, Houston, and then the Woodlands. The eye wall is coming right up through here. Right up through here. Cypress, north of Houston, including Houston, by the way. Corpus Christi, and then Spring, Texas, the Woodlands, right up in through here. Sugarland will be in that right quadrant of the storm. So, yeah, I mean, you guys will get a significant amount of rain. Absolutely you will. Rain band's coming through right now. That band of rain that just went through Houston and Spring and the Woodlands, that was the far outer band of the strengthening storm. It is definitely strengthening, no doubt about it. And it's going to continue to strengthen until it hits that land. Here's the latest radar I have. This is a one that I've used for years. And it's always right on the money. You see that big rain band right there? Very heavy downpours. And that's what's developing out here off the Gulf. You can start to see an eye wall right there. It's trying. I would say Category 1 at least. Possibly a Category 2. But this whole storm has been a surprise from the get-go. It's been an overachiever. So you can see heavy rain off the coast, 10 inches. That's what they got in Jamaica. Parts of Jamaica saw 10 inches of rain. I don't think they're going to see that much in Texas. 6 inches. Cypress, maybe 7 inches. Sugarland, 7.5. These are the rainfall totals over the next 36 hours. In this very narrow path, not even that wide. College Station, 4. Huntsville, 6.8. Houston itself, maybe 7. Where else were we looking at? Spring, Texas is right here. Spring could see 5 inches, maybe 6 inches of rain. There in the dark burgundy area, that's the heaviest rain. The dark burgundy represents heavy rain, rainfall totals. The light orange and yellow, and then of course green are the very insignificant rainfall totals. Inch, half inch, something like that. Nothing major. But here's our view. We're looking out into the Gulf of Mexico from Matagorda. Conditions are starting to deteriorate. Oh, there's some wind. You see the camera bounce? The winds have arrived. Here we go. You can see the wave. Oh, wow, this is right on schedule. Okay, look at the waves coming up farther and farther. Here we go, guys. Camera, that's the first time I've seen the camera bounce. Here we go. It's coming. And it is strengthening, yes. Satellite presentation is right on. See the camera starting to bounce? There you go. There's another bounce right there. Here we go. Be ready, Texas. Here comes the storm. Yeah, the camera's bouncing right now. Either way, you're going to be dealing with some form of a hurricane. So you have to prepare accordingly. Prepare for power outages. In fact, speaking of power outages, let's come over here and check them out. That's one thing I didn't... Okay, so Texas right now looking at 12,000. Probably down here along the coast. Let's look. Yep, down in southeast Texas again, and it's no wonder that's where the storm's getting ready to make landfall. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as the storm gets closer and closer. Power outages are starting to accumulate. This storm's getting a somewhat impressive satellite presentation together here. It's much bigger than it was, as it was somehow cruising through the southern Caribbean as it made its way across the Windward Islands. I don't know how it did that. I've never seen that before. Yeah, cruised right through here and paid no mind at all to the wind shear. Just went right on through there. That's a tremendous amount of wind shear right now. That's what's carrying the dust, wind shear. But there it is, right there. It's getting closer. It's probably a good... that's the eye wall that is getting stronger. It absolutely is. I don't know, probably 5 hours from making landfall. Official landfall. 5, maybe 4.5. I don't know. It's gaining momentum, guys. Absolutely it is. refresh. We'll see if this camera here is bouncing around a little bit. The wind gusts are starting to get stronger as the storm is getting stronger. What's up, Mama Jean? What's going on, guys? Anybody in South Texas? Yeah, you see the bouncing camera, Happy 44 Tex? Starting to bounce. That's the first time it's bounced in an hour. I haven't seen it bounce yet since I've been on here, and I've been on here for a couple hours. That's the first time I've seen it be affected by the wind. Oh, you're in Galveston, Lisa? Thank you. Let us know what's up. They're saying 2 a.m. on our weather. That's 11 hours from now. Thank you, Lindy. Lindy Lou. Yeah, I would say that's when the eye wall is going to be definitely on land. Absolutely, by 11. Absolutely, 11 hours from now. Sure, I totally agree with that. Yeah, you're looking at the conditions right now. We're just looking out into the Gulf of Mexico from Matagorda. Can't see out there very far at all until the waves are stirred up. There goes that camera bouncing again. Here we go. Here we go. I've been in on cameras in the middle of category 4s. You talk about bouncing. I don't know how the camera stayed on the mount. I really and truly don't, and it did, and it was in the direct path of Hurricane Ida. Not Ian, Ida, that made landfall in, I believe it was 20, I don't know, it's been a few years back. But man, that camera was bouncing like I'd never seen one bounce like that one before. And it stayed on during the entire storm, category 4. It was in the eye wall. It was a camera on a bridge, and it made it. It was very impressive. It was dealing with 100-mile-an-hour winds, and it wanted more. I was like, wow. Whoever installed that did a really good job. Oh yeah, make sure you're subscribed, guys. If you guys that are here, make sure you are subscribed. I get people telling me all the time for reasons unbeknownst to me that they were unsubscribed, and they've maybe been longtime subscribers. And guys, I have no control over that. I don't know why that happens, but you know what? It's an easy fix. Just resubscribe and move on, you know, and then just check it every once in a while. It happens to me too. I very rarely get notifications of folks that I'm subscribed to. I have to go to their channel and look, you know. But it's all good. Just double check and make sure you're still subscribed. Oh, you were in Ivan in Pensacola, Sayla. Yeah, I think that was in what, 08? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember. I think Ivan was in 08. Thank you, Patricia. Oh, thank you. That's very nice, Patricia Weiss. Yeah, Rockport, you'll probably get some wind and rain. Yes, sir, Bobby. Galveston, Galveston's got a good camera? Okay, I'll check that out. 65-mile-an-hour winds at 10 p.m. Thank you, Rotten. Crypto Bits. I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of satellite presentations over the years, more than I can count. And I'm just letting you know that this one here is impressive. It hasn't impressed me this whole journey. I'm just being honest. Not that it has to impress me. I'm just an observer like everybody else. But I'm just saying, this storm is now starting to behave like a genuine hurricane. So, but it's getting too close to land to get too strong. The strongest it could get is a Category 2, in my humble opinion, unless it was to completely stall. I don't see that happening. So Category 1, I would say that's pretty much a given. This thing is really starting to show some strengthening, rapid intensification, if you will, but not into the major categories. If it hits the major leagues, that would be equally as surprising as it plowing through all this wind shear back here. And that's what this map is telling you. Yeah, it's showing you Sahara dust being blown literally all over the world. Look at this. It's going clear over into Asia. Look at that. Look how dense that is. That's from the Gobi Desert and stuff too. But that's just showing you that the summertime wind shear in the northern hemisphere is a very real thing. That's it. Just telling you there's wind shear there. And sometimes hurricanes can slip in between the clouds, not necessarily under, close to the equator. Did you guys know that a hurricane cannot even form at the equator? So the closer these storms form near the equator is yet another anomaly. Storms cannot form at the equator. It's impossible. But maybe we'll see one this year. I don't know. But anyway, this one's got a pretty decent satellite presentation. So you guys in southern Texas, yeah, I would expect a Category 1 for sure. Oh, yeah. There's nothing to stop it from becoming a Category 1. Here's your wind shear. Look at the wind shear. Conditions are favorable right now. The green lines, that's an absence of wind shear. So conditions are perfect for the formation of a hurricane and strengthening of a hurricane. Absolutely. So it's going to strengthen. Yes, absolutely it's going to strengthen. So expect power outages, expect heavy rain, expect at the very least some wind gusts. You know, not anything like a high-end major hurricane, but it's going to strengthen. I wouldn't be surprised if this were to become a Category 2 right before it makes landfall. Right before it makes landfall. I can tell you right now, it's trying. It is definitely trying to. So that, because the conditions are perfect for hurricanes. Perfect. Absolutely ideal. Super warm water, some of the warmest water in the world, and an absence of wind shear. Now this red line up here, there's two. Those represent wind shear. So when the storm, the eye wall of the storm gets up into this area, it's going to have a difficult time, but it's going to be on land anyway, so it's not going to matter. But that wind shear is going to definitely slow it down. But it's forming right now. It's spreading out, getting stronger. Yeah, it's probably going to become a hurricane here very soon. Once that eye wall peaks through there, then you'd be looking at a Category 1 storm. Right now, it's honestly, it's not that tall. You want to know the truth? That thing's only about 35,000 feet. It's not that tall. And usually wind shear will cause it to tip over. That's just showing you there's no wind shear. It's going to get taller before it makes landfall. And the taller it gets, the stronger it's going to get, the more rain it's going to be able to produce. So yeah, it's going to be a rainmaker. Absolutely it will be. You bet. Looking at the coast again, I think this is the one. Oh, they both were bouncing. We saw a little bouncing activity. I'm going to go to the Galveston camera in a minute. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Galveston, Texas, 24/7 live beach camera. I'll check it out. Becklington. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Whoops. We got a spinner here. Let's refresh the page. Matagorda. Need to go to Galveston, right? You guys want to go to Galveston? Let's do it. Galveston 24/7. 24/7. There it is. You guys are right, as usual. You guys are always right. If you want to know something, ask the chat. Here we go. Okay. Galveston Beach Cam. Is this it right here? Is this what you were talking about? Let's check it out. Is that right now? Okay, is that it? Is that the one you guys are talking about? How far from the cone path will we see rain? I'm in San Antonio. Oh, you're on the, you know what? San Antonio is not going to see much rain. So this is a look from Galveston. And Galveston, honestly, not really seeing a whole lot of action here. I mean, there's people standing very casually down here on the beach. So where Galveston is, hold up, in San Antonio, that was a good question. Let's turn the heading around. Here we go. There's Matagorda. Galveston is just slightly, well, not slightly, it's right over here. Galveston's to the east of Matagorda. San Antonio, you're on the left-hand side of the storm, so it doesn't look like you're going to get much rain at all. You might get a little. I'll show you the path of the rain. Here we go, right here. See, San Antonio? You might see some sprinkles. But as far as any type of accumulation or wind, you guys are on the left-hand side of the storm, and that's the calmer side of the storm. You guys are going to be... it's going to be quiet, to be honest, unless it makes a radical change in direction, which I don't foresee that, because there's a high-pressure system up here that's steering it to the north. So it shouldn't be able to even physically go to the east, or I'm sorry, the west. So San Antonio, you guys are Probably not even going to get much rain, if any at all. Probably a little, but not much. Waves let's look at some of these other beach cams here, guys. Here's a Stewart beach cam. I'm not sure where this is at. I mean, you got people down here having a party on the beach. Is this 1521? 1521, that is 12 plus 3, that's 521, right? No. Yeah, 521. Where's that at? Oh, here's the East Beach Cam. Let's check it out. I think we've already looked at this one. Partner, the performance upgrade in progress. Ah, yeah. I've had that happen so many times. Storms making landfall, and you go to look at these cameras that are in the path of the storm, and they are offline. I've seen that so many times. Now, this one here, you can see the storm approaching. This looks like a live view. Sure is. There you go, live from Galveston. This would be on the right side of the storm. You can see this a little more visibility over here. Matagorda, the visibility is not near as good, and the camera's not bouncing yet, but it probably will be, as this storm's going to go right through the Galveston area. Let's look and see. Oh yeah, there's Corpus Christi, Rockport. You guys are on the left side of the storm, so you could see maybe some wave activity, but never print out a whole lot. Matagorda is right in here. In fact, it's right in the path. Absolutely it is. There's Port O'Connor. Where is Port O'Connor? Galveston. There's Rockport, Freeport, Lake Jackson, Sargent. Where's Port O'Connor at? There's Galveston. There's Port Arthur. Oh, there's Port O'Connor. That would be to the left of Matagorda. I'm trying to get my bearings here. Where's this? Where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? I want to know. I want to know now. Yeah. All right. So there's your path of rainfall. The dark burgundy represents a few inches of rain. So if you're in this path of dark burgundy, at this stage in the game, guys, this is going to happen, okay? It's too close to land for this not to happen. So this rain is going to happen. Woodlands, 6 inches. Corpus Christi, it looks like you're going to stay on the left-hand side of the storm. You might see maybe a ½ an inch of rain. The counterclockwise motion may bring some back, but all depends on what happens here these next couple of hours. If it does continue on its projected path, this is where the rain is going to go. The primary cumulative rain. Houston, maybe 7 inches. Well, I'm sorry, 5 inches tops. Houston's a big city, so you're going to see 3 inches, 4 inches, maybe 5 inches, almost 7 inches over by Belair. Missouri City, just over 7 inches potentially. These are all going to fluctuate tremendously, but the path, I would say, is going to be pretty accurate. And rain going all the way up into, not to exclude, Arkansas looking at 5, 6, 7 inches of rain in places. That would be northwestern Arkansas, southern Missouri, possibly 5, 6, 7 inches of rain by the 9th. So this storm is going to drag a lot of moisture northward with it as it makes landfall here along the southeastern coast of Texas. So not just Texas is going to be affected by the storm. Arkansas, southern Missouri, it'll probably bring some rain into central Missouri, maybe far southern Illinois. You won't have any tropical storm force winds, but you'll have definitely some rain, which, out here in Arizona, it never rains. So it's been raining, I will say, a little bit this year. We've had some rain. The monsoon has tried to kick into gear, and it's still trying. I want to see this camera. Is this camera going to bounce again? But this is not going to be a high-end storm by any means. It doesn't have time to become a high-end storm. So, but the fact that it's even a storm surprises me. So if it did become a high-end storm, I would be equally as surprised as this thing even forming. So, but I wouldn't think so. It doesn't have enough time. It's getting too close to land, and we all know what that does. That disrupts any future. Oh, now you can see the camera bouncing. So we're getting more action here in Matagorda. than in Galveston at the moment. I mean, this is a live cam, and you can see that it's a much different environment here in Matagorda than it is over in Galveston, and they're just a few miles apart. They're not that far apart. Matagorda is seeing heavier winds. Yeah, right in here. Galveston, not so much. But coming right in front of the storm, Matagorda, conditions are deteriorating for sure. That just updated, and you're starting to see the formation of a ragged eye wall. See it right there? Probably went through a, what do they call it, an eye wall replacement type of a deal. The hurricanes do that. Oh, yeah. Oh, this thing's strengthening, guys. Woo. Oh, you bet that's strengthening. Absolutely it is. This is a little sleeper. Okay. If you're in this area, be ready. That's a sleeper right there. He tried to lull everybody to sleep, and this thing's cranking right now. You better believe it. Oh, that's going to be an easy Category 1. That's going to be a strong Category 1. Oh, absolutely. So y'all in this area here, Matagorda, Sargent, Sweeney, Van Vleck. If I said that right, I hope I got that right. Van Vleck. West Columbia, Lake Jackson, Freeport, Galveston eventually, yes. Sugarland, El Capo. You guys could see some strong winds. The right-hand side of the storm, look at that. It's starting to reveal itself, and I see an eye wall right there underneath those thin clouds. That's a sleeper. You guys better be ready. Oh, yeah. That's a sleeper storm. He tried to lull us to sleep. This is what it looks like in the path of the eye wall formation right now. It's fairly strong. Small, but getting bigger. Oh, yeah. I would say in probably an hour, hour and a half, the conditions up here at Galveston will be much different. Starting to get darker right now, but yeah, the camera just changed directions, it looks like. Yeah, conditions are starting to deteriorate in the Galveston area. South Galveston Skycam. And somebody changed the direction. The Bay, Gulf of Mexico is over here, I think. Yeah. That's a sleeper, guys. It's forming right now. It's gaining some heavy momentum. Oh, let's check out where they're going now. Who's doing this? Somebody's moving the camera around. It's not me. Oh, there we go. Now we're looking out into the Gulf of Mexico. Camera functioning great. It's not bouncing yet, but it will be. There's looking out over Galveston. That's a good view. That's a really good view. I like that. Very cool. Hey, what's up? Joner Games, thank you. That's really cool. I don't know who's moving this camera, but I'm glad they are. Keep moving it. Give us different looks. We appreciate it. A little bit of vibration there. I don't know if that's from moving or if that's from wind. Probably a combination of both. Now it looks like wind. Ah, that's definitely wind. So the camera's starting to bounce in Galveston. We're starting to see the visibility dissipate off into the Gulf, so that means the storm's getting closer. This thing's strengthening, guys, no joke. What's it doing now? We don't want to see the building, we want to see the bay. Go out into the Gulf. Go out in the Gulf, dude. What are you doing? Are you serious? We don't want to look at that rooftop. Come on, dude. You can do better than that. We don't want to see the rooftop. We're going back to Matagorda. Here we go. Here we go. Is the camera bouncing? Should be. Yeah, you can see the waves pushing up farther and farther into the coast or into the beach. The waves are getting up into the brush. They weren't. They were way out here earlier. Yeah, visibility is getting, it's going to get even less and less. That storm's getting strong out there, guys. No joke. Okay, I'm gonna switch gears. Hold on. Stay with me. I'm switching gears just temporarily. Let's see what this thing's really doing up here, how high up it's going. Okay, it's the center part right here. That's the tall part. It's definitely getting taller. It's just not super tall yet, but it never has been. That's how it evaded the wind shear. It stayed low. Had to have stayed low because hurricanes easily tip over from wind shear. I've seen it, I don't know how many times. Hurricanes that get all lopsided, that usually have that buzzsaw look. Hurricanes will get lopsided because of the winds that you can't see are blowing it over. It has to have that central pipe in the middle. I call it like a vortex in the middle that connects the warm water with the cold sky. And that's your eye. And if it's got any type of interference, i.e. wind shear, it's going to be a dud. This one's starting to really get its act together here at the end of its journey. Yeah, that's turning into a semi-impressive tropical storm. It'll probably be a Category 1 at least. I would be surprised if it jumped to a Category 2. Not at all. Going right towards Matagorda, Galveston. Yeah, Galveston, you're going to be right in the middle of all this action here shortly. You're going to be on the right-hand side of the storm, Galveston, so you're going to be in the very strong, winds later on tonight. Galveston, Matagorda, Sugarland, League City, Alvin, Lake Jackson. You guys are going to be in the strongest part of the storm. So you're going to see a Category 1. I'm 99% sure. I would say the potential to be a Category 2, slim, maybe 20%. But the satellite presentation definitely is showing that it's trying to, and the conditions are extremely favorable for it to possibly become at least a strong 1, maybe a 2. Wouldn't be surprised at all, because there's no wind shear there, and you got super warm waters and the divergence. Look at that thing. It's spreading its wings. Oh, yeah. And the vortex is tight. What is it, 150? That's not real strong, I will say that. I've seen them 300. 300's your high end. So we know it's already a low-end hurricane. Where's the dry air? Or no, that's the DLM. Dry air is absent again. So there's all the dry air that it's dealing with. Very little. And that's why you see that little anomaly right there. See the anomaly in the storm right there? The absence of hurricane right there? See the blue? It's because of that little bit of dry air. It's pulling in a little bit of dry air, but not much. Not enough to really have an effect on its performance, but it is pulling in some dry air right there. But other than that, yeah, you're going to be dealing with a hurricane for sure. Oh, yeah, it's coming. It's going to be there soon. And, you know, the thing of it is, there's no good time for a hurricane, but any type of hurricane overnight, after dark, you know, that's like, oh, well, yeah, definitely, it's getting stronger. It's going to be after dark is when you're going to be dealing with the majority of the storm. So, yeah, be ready for power outages. I'm sure they're going to come. I would say that's a given if you're down here in the Galveston area, Matagorda. See if the cameras are bouncing yet. That means the arrival of the winds. I can tell the water is coming up a little bit farther. But again, you're not dealing with a Cat 5, Cat 4, Cat 3. This is going to be at best a strong Category 1, I think. But it's still a hurricane, and it can still bring power outages and heavy rains and strong wind gusts and everything that comes with a hurricane. You guys know the drill, especially you folks in South Texas. You're no strangers to hurricanes. It's just a way of life down there. I get it. I used to live in Florida. I used to deal with hurricanes all the time. But I can tell this one here is trying to get stronger right through here. It definitely is. Its last leg. You can see that little buzzsaw over here, but right there is where it's pulling in that dry air. Other than that, you would have a classic satellite view of a hurricane without right there. There's its only interference. And when you see that gap, that's always an indication of dry air. It's telling you a story. Everything's telling a story. You just got to know how to read it. Like right here, this is in Matagorda. They're going to be dealing with the eye of the storm, more than likely, if it stays on course. Yeah. You can tell it's kind of heading that way. The visibility's been uh, very, very minimal ever since I've been over here. So if you're in Southeast Texas, guys, stay safe. Be ready for power outages. Be ready for wind gusts. And I'll show you guys the location of the heaviest rain. Here's the path of the heaviest forecasted rain. And I would say this is going to materialize because it's just so close to the coast. Even if it does change, it wouldn't be by much. Again, for several miles inland, all the way up into southern Missouri, possibly 4 inches of rain in the Springfield, Missouri area. There's Beryl right there, Beryl like Cheryl. Northwestern Arkansas, 3 to 5, 6, 7 inches of rain. Even parts of southeastern Oklahoma. Look at that. 3 to 4 inches of much needed rain, maybe 6 inches of rain in southeastern Oklahoma, all up through eastern Texas, with the exception of far eastern Texas. But you can see the path. Waco, not too much. Killeen, Austin, in fact, Austin just showing just sprinkles, so you guys aren't going to see much. San Antonio, no. It's going to be all east of San Antonio, east of Austin. Pretty much east of Dallas. Dallas, you might see 3/4 of an inch, maybe, but that's over the course of 2 days, so that's not going to be, or 36 hours. It's not going to be a big deal. Got a pretty narrow path, but that path is long, extends for a few hundred miles inland, and in and around Houston, maybe 6, 7, 8 inches of rain, 7 inches tops. In the Spring area, the Woodlands, Cypress, Sugarland, 7.35. I would say this is going to happen based off of where it's at now, how it appears to be strengthening. Let's go to the visible spectrum. Where are you? Right there. Talk to me. Show me what's going on here. We want to know. Yeah, it's definitely strengthening. You know it is. So it's going to be pushing some water inland. Not a whole lot, but some. That is a strengthening tropical storm. 100%. Strengthening tropical storm. I haven't updated this one in a while. Let's see. Oh, you know what I want to do? Hold up. One more thing here real quick. We want to look at the wind gusts. Oh, I'm over here at the old Venta Sky. Okay. Wind gusts, 1 hour. Tonight at 6 p.m. Let's see what it's got it strengthening to. 8 p.m. 90-mile-an-hour wind. 9 p.m. Oh, it's slowing down. That'll give it an even greater chance of strengthening. There's 10 p.m., 80, 85, and these are wind gusts. 90, see, getting stronger right before landfall. 95, yeah. Those are wind gusts, not sustained. There's a difference. 90s, 80s. Yeah, you guys are probably going to see some power outages, so just know it's probably going to happen. 93. If you're in this area here, it would be Matagorda, Galveston. Actually, Galveston, you're on the far northern edge of the potential landfall, so you're still going to see some wind gusts in the 50, 60 mile an hour range. Right there, look at that. 106 right before landfall. 110 right before landfall. That's what I'm saying. This thing's got a pretty impressive satellite presentation, so don't be surprised if you're dealing with, at the very least, a strong Category 1. Headed right towards Bay City. Where's Corpus? Corpus Christi is... Where you at, Corpus Christi? Okay, see Corpus Christi, you're going to be on the south side of the storm, the west side, so not a whole lot. I mean, this thing's headed right towards where we've got the cameras in Matagorda, so I would say that's probably going to happen. You can see it's that right-hand momentum. That's what I'm seeing here. Look at that. Got that strong counterclockwise presentation. That's wind right there, strong wind. So yeah, might see some power outages tonight, guys. Where are we at? Where did Venta Sky go? Oh, there you are. So if that does materialize, there could be 100-mile-an-hour winds tonight. Oh my goodness, at 1 a.m.? That's a terrible time for 100-mile-an-hour winds. Are you crazy? I guess just the way it's going to be. That would be its peak, around 1 a.m. tonight. Um, 80, 90, maybe 100-mile-an-hour winds. So expect power outages, expect heavy rain. It's coming, this storm, and you can see right there the eye wall headed right towards Cypress, the Woodlands, Houston being in the right quadrant of the storm, which is always the strongest. And that's at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we're talking over 12 hours from now. So slow mover, and that slow mover is going to give it a chance to strengthen even more. Hopefully it doesn't stall. That's happened before. The longer it stays in one location, the more rain you're going to get. And that's probably why the rainfall totals are 6, 7, 8, or not 8, 6, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain because of its slow movement. Here at, this is at windy.com, showing the landfall in the same general area in about the same time frame. So growing stronger, getting a little bit bigger. Let's look at the cameras one more time at Matagorda. Are they doing any bouncing yet? Or the visibility's just about down to probably a quarter mile, if that. I mean, you can barely see the beach. See the white caps. There's a little bit of movement. The camera's starting to bounce a little bit at Matagorda. So there you have it, guys. If you're in the South Texas area, expect power outages tonight. Expect some high winds during the overnight hours. Let's look at the power outage situation right now. Last time we were here, it was at 12,867. Let's refresh the page. Went up 14,438. So 2,000 more customers almost without power, just as we've been doing this video, because of this thing right here. When this thing makes landfall, there's going to be an increase in power outages down here in southeast Texas. So if you're in the Galveston area, you guys are going to be on that right-hand quadrant. This thing's getting stronger. Absolutely it is. Definitely be a Category 1. I have 100% confidence in that. It's going to be a Category 1. Yes, indeed. There's Matagorda, another view of the coastline in southeast Texas. So be ready, guys. It's coming. It's just hours from landfall. And it's going to be a slow mover. It's going to be the next 10 hours of at least tropical storm conditions. It has an outside chance of becoming a Category 2 before landfall. I would definitely say it's well on its way, if not already at a Category 1. But again, those aren't real high-end storms. They don't normally create a whole lot of havoc unless they stall. If they stall and go incredibly slow, then they can produce a lot of rain. But right now, 4, 5, 6, 7 seems to be the common denominator from southern Texas all the way up into southern Missouri over the next 36 to 48 hours. So as long as it's not coming down in 10 hours, you can handle that. That's no problem. But yeah, storm's coming, and it's a sleeper. So what I mean by that is it's kind of been quietly cruising through the Gulf of Mexico as an unorganized tropical storm. I think at times it was even a tropical depression because it was so unorganized. Now, in the 11th hour, it wants to get organized and become all that in a bag of chips before it makes landfall, huh? Yeah, look at you go. Yeah, because it's got ideal conditions. No wind shear, very warm waters. What's that equal? Hurricane. And that's what's happening. That's going to be a hurricane, I would say, any hour. Yeah, very, very soon. They'll probably upgrade that to a Category 1. And I would think it would stay there, but I would say there's an outside chance, 20% chance this becomes a Category 2 right before landfall. That would be my guess, guys. That would be my guess. So once again, if you're in southeast Texas, southern Texas in general, the Matagorda area, over to Galveston, in the Houston area, anywhere in here, this thing is super, super close. Some of those outer bands, those outer feeder bands have already been making landfall. You can see there's some right now along those the barrier islands out there in the Galveston area, probably experiencing rain right now. Let's take a look and see. Is it raining there? South Galveston? Let's look. Might be a rain band coming through there. Camera starting to bounce a little bit, starting to see bigger white caps. but not anything drastic. I mean, there's people at the beach, but that's not uncommon. I've seen people at beaches during Category 3s making landfall because they love to go out and ride the waves. But when you have people down here at the beach, you know, taking it all in, you got to watch those rip currents, though. That right there is probably not a great idea. Nah, not a great idea right there, guys. Rip currents are no joke. Don't fool with rip currents. But yeah, that's Galveston. Right now, honestly, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. But this here is getting stronger, so this is a sleeper, is what I'm trying to say. And it just woke up. Look at all these things. Look at the popcorn. Pop, 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 pop. That means it's reaching up. It's found its zone. That's what it's been trying to do all along. It finally found the perfect condition right before landfall. So it's going to strengthen. Expect heavy rains, high winds, and power outages. It's coming. This is going to be a pretty strong Category 1. At the very least. Quite possibly a Category 2. Yes. Yes, indeed. It's got a pretty impressive satellite presentation. No joke. And this is 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. I mean, we're several hours away from now. And that eye wall just barely making landfall by 1 a.m., midnight. Galveston, again, you'd be on the northeastern edge of the storm unless it drifts a little farther north. And it all depends on the high pressure. There's a high pressure system right here that's steering the storm farther to the north. If the high pressure was down in here, then the storm would be going more towards Corpus Christi. But the high pressure drifted to the northeast a little bit, so the storm drifted to the northeast a little bit. So there you have it, midnight tonight. And there's Matagorda right there. That's where the camera's at, right there. That's Matagorda. So Matagorda is right in the path. This area right here is in the path of the storm. In the eye of the storm. It will be by tonight, of course, after dark, when people probably will be dealing with power outage issues. And that's always a potential during any tropical storm or hurricane, regardless of its strength. But yeah, it's getting close to the coast, guys. Not going to be an overachiever. Elon Musk. Oh yeah, he has the rocket facility down here, right? What's the name of that place? Help me out, guys. What's the name of the place down in the what am I thinking of? Starlink place down here in South Texas. What's it called? Elon Musk has the facility down here. What's up, guys? What's the name of the place down here? Kona, I can't think of the name. Elon Musk. Oh, blessings concert. Yeah, SpaceX, just Abigail. Where's it at in Boca Chica? There you go. Kristen 451. That's correct, Boca Chica. That's where Elon Musk hangs out in his bat cave. But anyway, the bat cave is probably going to get wet tonight. Yeah, SpaceX, indeed. Yeah, True Knock, people get out there and ride them waves. Absolutely. Oh, you're in Austin, just Abigail? You guys should stay pretty dry, honestly, in Austin. I don't think you're going to see much of the storm. It's drifting to the northeast thanks to that high pressure system right up here that's allowing it to go. In fact, I'll zoom out. Maybe we can even see it on here. Let's look and see. Upper level, yeah. Let's look at the upper level. Satellite winds, if it'll ever get there. Joseph, I did get some videos, my friend. Thank you, Joseph. What are we looking at here? I'm checking them out right now. There you go. There's your high pressure. And that's what's steering the wind. See? They're steering the storm. Right up through here. There you go. It's pulling it up that way. There's your winds. The winds are invisible, but they control everything up there. You just can't see it. Okay. Let's go in. I like the close view. Let's go ahead and close. Has it updated yet? Oh, I think it has. I think it's a Category 1 now, guys. I think it's officially a Category 1, and I am not at all surprised. Let's see what the shear is doing. Ah, yeah, it's still good. All the way into landfall. So there's not going to be anything in its way to strengthen between here and here. It could be a Category 2, absolutely. By the time it makes landfall. Not now, but by the time it makes landfall, yeah, there's an outside chance. Let's go back to Matagorda. Yeah, Boca Chica, that's the name of that place where they build the rockets. Wow, the visibility's gotten even lower here. Matagorda is right in the middle of the eyewall path. Once it forms one, and it will, I think it's going to form a very impressive eye before it makes landfall. I really do, just based off the satellite presentation. It's got the potential to do so anyway. Will it? I don't know. This thing has been a surprise to me all along. I was very surprised that it even formed to begin with. I've never seen a storm do that. Not out here, not in this mess. I mean, that wind shear is blowing that dust all over the northern hemisphere pretty much. That's the story it's telling you, that there's wind shear in the atmosphere that's strong enough to push Sahara dust particles all the way around the northern hemisphere of the Earth, or at least most of it. And right in here, they call this the MDR, Main Development Region, during the summertime and early fall. This is where hurricanes form, mainly, but not when there's this amount of dust out here. That is absolutely not possible. But it happened, right? One snuck in right under here. And again, you get too close to the equator, it just simply can't happen. The laws of physics won't allow it. And usually the laws of physics won't allow it in conditions like that. But something gave way, absolutely, because it did form. And right there it is. But it is strengthening, guys. So if you're in southeastern Texas, that's a pretty impressive satellite presentation. No joke. It's got a little bit of dry air right there, but really not enough to disturb it in any great fashion. It's getting stronger. 100%. Definitely getting stronger. I would say it's a Category 1, but it's very close. I would say it probably is, but gonna make landfall tonight. Unfortunately, after dark, right here in this area between Port Lavaca, Lake Jackson, right in this area here. So if you're on the right-hand side of this storm, Sugarland, Galveston, Houston, especially Lake Jackson, you guys will probably see a lot of rain. Freeport, what's going on here in Freeport? Well, that's a petroleum. Okay, well, they're probably going to see an abundance of rain right in here in the Freeport area. It's like some sort of a refinery, maybe. But yeah, I mean, the nice thing about it, it's not a high-end hurricane, so that's the good thing. There's Matagorda, and that's where our little handy-dandy cameras are at right there. Matagorda, Boca Chica. There we go. But yeah, back to the beginning of the video. I wanted to show you guys something that Jim sent me from. Jim's from Ohio, but he happened to notice this on his app, and this was as the storm was moving through the Caribbean Sea. Some sort of a weird satellite presentation, whatever you want to call that, showed up on his radar device. And I've seen things like that before, not very often, but usually not out in the middle of the water like that. That's kind of a unusual type of a satellite presentation on any day. Here's another one that Jim shared with me. Once again, Jim, thank you, out of Canot, Ohio. Thank you. There it is. He happened to notice, and I know other people saw it as well. Yeah, it's mysterious looking, no doubt about it. Sometimes I just dismiss that as a Doppler radar signature, but usually Doppler radar is not hanging around out in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. In fact, you don't really have a whole lot of, unless it's a satellite from space, that you get your information as far as, storm information, not from Doppler radar sitting out in the middle of the ocean. No, those are typically land-based. Yeah. I'll be darned, getting that little buzzsaw effect going. See it? See the buzzsaw effect right there? Guys, this is a strengthening storm. Yeah, there's your buzzsaw effect. This is a sleeper. I see you now. You guys in South Texas, this thing's going to strengthen. There's your buzzsaw. That means it's getting taller. And there's no wind shear or you wouldn't see the buzzsaw. Oh my. This might get a little interesting before it makes landfall. Oh yeah. Just saying. This camera's starting to bounce yet. This is right in the middle of the eyewall path. To be honest, still relatively calm, but that's a strengthening storm, guys. Let's check the power outages. Last time it was 14. Here we go. 14,438. We're going to refresh the page. You ready? Here we go. They got them back on. 13,132. So they're staying ahead of the game. I remember Hurricane Irma as it was getting ready to make landfall in 2017 in South Florida. There were linemen. There was over 5,000 trucks sitting in South Alabama, southern Mississippi. I don't believe they were in Georgia because they weren't sure of the exact path of Irma. I know they were over here. They had assets positioned over here, and they had assets positioned in the Carolinas. So when the storm moved through, and it took out 6.9 million customers, maybe 6.8, the trucks were ready. They came in and went right to work and started getting power back on. So that's probably what's going on down here in Texas. They know the storm's coming. They know it's going to more than likely overwhelm some power lines in some certain areas. So they've already got trucks positioned and ready to go. The only thing is the trucks can't go up if the winds are over 35 miles an hour for safety reasons, so it makes sense. So they had to wait for the storm to completely pass, but they get out of the way. So they're ready to go once the storm went by. So yeah, there'll probably be some power outages and some moderate to heavy rain in places, 5 to 7 inches of rain. All right, guys. Well, listen, storm is strengthening. So if you're in Southeast Texas, heads up. This might be at the very least, a Category 1, which is what's being forecasted here by landfall. I don't know. It's acting like it's trying to get stronger, but this has been one that's been very strange from its very conception. So it's no telling what this thing will do. But expect some high winds, gusty winds, some moderate to heavy rain, and possible power outages. Listen, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Jet Powers, Olivia, Sinfield. What's going on, guys? Ginger, Lucy, Olivia, thanks for stopping by, guys. I'm going to hop off here. I've got some other things I need to tend to. If you're in the path of the storm, just know it's coming, and it does look like, according to this satellite presentation right here, it is at the very least attempting to get a little bit stronger. Thanks for watching. Have a super day. Be safe out there, guys.